Hello everyone, Aric Hall with the Blaze of Glory. I thought I would take a few minutes and do a video about me and how I got started on this hunt and assess where we are in the treasure hunt at this point and where I'm going from here, including my latest discovery. I first heard of the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt probably around 2013, but I dismissed it. I didn't think much of it. Then, in 2017, after one of the deaths and the annual spike in news coverage, I read the poem, and I couldn't put it down. I saw it in my dreams at night. For a few days and then weeks, I wrestled with these infernal clues, trying to improve on other searchers' conclusions. I have 27 college degrees and certificates. I'm supposed to be a smart person. Surely I can figure out this riddle. But I should have known. Being smart ain't got nothing to do with it. You have to psychoanalyze Forrest Fenn. And who thinks like him? We would have to drag the information out of him. But how? We can't ply him with alcohol because he doesn't drink. One day it hit me, like it has every other armchair searcher. I had found a secret location that the clues could be forced to fit. So Forrest Fenn succeeded again. Some old geezer got me out walking around old geysers looking for a treasure chest. I have simply been amazed at how many places on the map fit multiple clues in this poem in order. Every year, new searchers say, "I figured it out in 2 hours sitting at the computer." No, you didn't. The clues can't be obvious. They can't match labels on a map in sequence, or the treasure would have already been found several years ago. Forrest tells us to simplify, but surely someone would have found it if it was that simple. It must be a little bit illogical to everyone except Forrest Fenn. The search is complicated by Forrest's sometimes contradictory statement. Like when he says, "I made 2 trips from the car," and then he says, "I made 2 trips in the car." Or when he said, "I hid the chest when I was 79 or 80, versus him saying, "I hid it 15 years after I had cancer." When he says, "I drove a rental car," and then he references it as "my car." There are hints and clues that in my mind can never be reconciled. The poem says, "in the wood." We assume it is like Robert Frost's poem. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Forrest says you can see trees, smell pine, and smell sage, and the chest could be burned in a forest fire. The problem is sage doesn't grow in the trees or in the wood, and you can't see animals, mountains, or anything else if you're lost in the forest. We know that Forrest Fenn likes to play with words, like changing butterfly to flutterby. Is this deceit on the part of the architect of the poem, or is it overly precise? Maybe we are standing on the delineating line between woods and an open field of sage, overlooking a distant field of cattle, buffalo, elk, or wild Wyoming mustangs. Forrest Fenn says the clues were not there when he was a kid, but the places were. That could include name changes, park boundaries, bear management areas, changes in regulatory classifications, the New Mexico fishing regulation boundary lines, or perhaps some other things that, for now, I will keep close to my chest. You know Forrest Fenn is getting his jollies at our expense. All of us crazy people who can't read his poem identify the clues and walk up to the chest. What is it that Forrest Fenn says? When these guys are making a mistake, I don't want to interrupt them. Well, this brings us to 2018. This year I have been constantly changing my mind on how to approach the search. I sit at the cafe, with my chin up on my fist like a philosopher, pondering the big philosophical questions of our day. Questions like, how far is too far to walk? Around February, I had resolved to abandon the entire second stanza of the poem. Everyone is just guessing in the dark about where warm waters halt, and what canyon, and how far is too far, and what the heck is a home of brown. Look at the search community. Everyone's opinions and interpretations are all over the place. But Forrest Fenn says if you don't solve where warm waters halt, you might as well stay home and play canasta. Toby Eunice says if you don't have a warm waters halt, then you aren't really searching, you're just wandering around in an open space. That's me. It has been percolating around in my mind that we should forget the second stanza and just look at the things we know. Mountains, pine, pinyon, sage, animals, cold water, creeks, a short distance from a car, etc. I mean, surely that can't be more than a few thousand places, right? Since January, I have come up with several search locations that really piqued my interest. I have to get in there, even if they're not a perfect fit. And then after that, I would just like to drive around the countryside, learning and assessing how many places we could rule out. I figure a good part of this summer's trip will serve to gather information about places that qualify and meet the clues and hints that we know to look for. Maybe we could scratch a number of parts of that map out as being impossible. We know that Forrest Fenn has said this place was special to him. Is that New Mexico, Yellowstone, or perhaps the entirety of the Rocky Mountains? Have you noticed that whenever Forrest Fenn writes or speaks of a location, hundreds of treasure hunters rush out to search? This leads me to believe that the treasure is going to be in a place that he has never mentioned. Forrest Fenn supposedly told one of the film crews that his father, Marvin Fenn, might have known the special place, but of course, two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead. It is a place that is so special to Forrest that no one else has been told, who is still alive anyway. So we have to search everywhere, looking for places that may fit known clues. Then, this weekend happened. I realized I was chasing two dead-end rabbit holes, which I have now abandoned. But, looky here now what I done found. Folks, my research this weekend led me to unwind a riddle that I had heretofore missed, and from searching the other treasure hunter blogs and pages, I have found no one else that has proposed the same thing that I am now considering. What I'm following is not a hunch. This is a humdinger, mojo doula, whim diddly, big important hint. This one may just break the case wide open. I don't know if the treasure chest has already been found or not. I fear that the chest will be found by someone else after I determine where it is. That would be really sickening. But as of this past weekend, I am now certain that Forrest is right when he says the treasure will be found this summer. If the treasure is still there, I think I might be able to move with confidence in there and right up to the treasure chest. I do have some X marks the spot to search, but if it's not there, I do have a larger target area. I could probably spend 2 or 3 weeks, but I have rearranged my trip plans and my search priorities based upon my new insights. So after this video, you probably won't see me post another video for a couple of weeks. I have some chores and obligations that have to be done before I can even leave. I have to get some things done, and I don't want to be wasting more time sitting at this texting machine. I can only hope and pray the chest is still there waiting for me when I get there. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe.